NASCAR Pinty Series fans, Cam K, back with you here. You can't see me yet because camera's not in the right position because we are going to get something done right away. And I'm going to put together our interview with Clinton Jeffrey. Not sure what's going on with my camera at the moment. It is not showing up on this main screen. So we will try to figure that out. It's always something, unfortunately, tech side. But we'll put forth a quick interview that we had. Regan McCauley and myself, along with Clinton Jeffrey. So let's get that going. So back here on the Power Hour, welcome in for episode, I think we're at 54 now, episode 54 of the Power Hour, back after a very busy weekend at GP3R, and we don't really have much time before we head out to So we did have some tech issues. That's just why I'm moving it forward. And at GP3R, and we don't really have much time before we head out to the next race. So we're going to start this episode off hot. Rigsy's here with me. We're going to break down GP3R, but first we're going to bring in the guy who puts everything together for Oshweek and Speedway and G-Force TV. We'll bring in Clinton Jeffrey here, who is joining us here for his first appearance, actually, on the show. And so that's really exciting. We'll bring on boss man Clinton and hear what's going to be coming our way for a very exciting 2 races at Oshweek and Speedway. So there he is, the man himself, the boss, the grand poobah of everything. Clinton, welcome in. First appearance on the show. Thank you. I don't think we got you. I think you're muted. Nope. Still don't gotcha. We'll give it a quick shot here. You know, we went through this last week with Regan, eh? And it always tends to happen that you get something nice and prepped and then it doesn't really work out the way that we were hoping. But he'll try again.
That describes Mother Nature here in the Maritimes.
Well, and your microphone last week actually was like the same, where you just like couldn't get it to turn on or whatever.
I think that was the camera actually.
Oh, was it the camera? That was
it was the webcam. Yeah, Mike was fine.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. No, we still don't have you, unfortunately. It doesn't sound like it's even on. That's the issue, but it says that you've got sound, so I don't know.
Oh no!
Now we got you.
Yeah.
All right. Could have been my headphone situation. How's it going, guys? Sorry for that.
No, that's okay. That's why we pay Spencer the big bucks, right?
Spencer will tell you that I give him microphone grief almost every week too. But I appreciate you giving me some time to come on. We're just obviously want to talk about us being next up for the Pinty's race this week. Super excited about that. We're releasing some news today. Probably not big secrets. Stu Friesen's going to be back driving both sprint cars and the Pinty's car. He'll be driving number 19. And that has to do with owner's points. If you're new to the deal, we'd have to buy and register the number 52. So for one race, it didn't make much sense. And with the partnership that Glenn has with WMI, David White already had number 19. So it was easy to just get the car numbered up like that. He'll drive a 52 sprint car for Glenn Stiers in the newly built GSR prepared chassis, which is kind of a good homecoming. The main fabricator at GSR, Brett Stratford, who's been running great in his crate sprints, is good friends with Stuart Friesen also. So Brett's super pumped to have Stu come home and race one of their home built cars. And by saying home built is not really fair because it's a $1 million factory that they're working out of. So a lot of stuff's going on there. But yeah, we're excited about the race. We're also announcing in the next couple of days that Dave Bailey's going to be back, as will Aaron Turkey. So for our home track fans, that's good. And for you guys who pretty much follow the tour, those are 2 names in 2 cars we wouldn't normally have. So those are a couple of extra additions along with Stuart Friesen. So I haven't seen the results on the open entry blanks yet, but I mean, those are 3 cars that, along with Schrader now, 4 cars that wouldn't normally be touring up and down the country that are going to be added to the show. So we're excited about that.
And in terms of the regular, now you've got 2 events. You're going to have 2 races this time around, Clinton. So are we expecting any sort of change in terms of how the procedure is going to be done? Are we still doing heat races on G-Force TV?
Yeah. So to clear up a couple things there, first off, from the broadcast side, obviously we work great with Joel and the Fuel Media team as we're part of it in a good way. Adam and I are proud to be, providing the stream out when we get to fly out, and it's amazing to be called out to go across the country and deliver these races. But yeah, at home, it's a great mix of everything. We will be live on G-Force TV right up until the 100-lap features both nights. So you see all the qualifying and everything right up until we get going. We are talking about some possible pre-race shows between the bands and the entertainment we have going on in the pit area. So you could see a couple of 15-minute segments possibly pop up throughout the day. We're calling it Pit Side with Greg and Adam, and we're hopefully going to bring in some video elements and have some fun there, touring around the pits and just having a good 15-minute laugh a few times throughout the day. But yeah, all the action is going to get underway probably around 6:30, I would think. Both nights we'll give you some of the hot laps and get right into it. Then, of course, at feature time, 9:30, we'll switch over both nights, and you'll have to go to Flow or TSN Plus to capture the features. But and then Joel will, of course, be recording everything, which we're proud of, too. Not to jump ahead, but our sprint car portions of both nights will be filmed by the TSN crew, and they'll come out as part of the Canadian Dirt Tour, which I'm actually watching right now before we got on. So that's a great mix of modifieds and sprint cars across the country, and we're proud to get our guys on TSN. But yeah, on G-Force, it's going to be super cool to have the NASCAR Pinty series on with us. For qualifying, we're able to capture that. And our team will be providing the full deal. And we're excited about it.
It is really exciting stuff. You got a great partner once again this year for the races on dirt. I believe it says Freshstone that's presenting the dirt race this year, and so obviously we want to thank them for coming on board, because this is a big deal. And are we expecting any potential late notes? I know you got a lot of dirt racers that could get their names thrown into the hat here. So we really never know if the entry list is complete yet.
Well, I think there's a couple things. So the short answer is nothing in the works at this moment, other than the 4 we just talked about. But I have talked to some of the teams out there, and there are some very economically based rentals out there, let's say. So if any of the dirt guys are watching now and are interested, give me a call. I can hook you up with some equipment that, if you're going to CTMP or maybe Delaware, probably not going to win the race. But on dirt, you're only half throttling these cars anyways. It's a total crapshoot. I think the exposure is worth it if you can get in there. There's a couple guys out there I've sent a couple of feathers out to. The problem is a lot of the dirt guys who are really, they're making good money on dirt with their own cars. So it's hard for them to pull up, 10, 12 grand to rent a car for a day or two. So but you never know, man. There's still a way. Can we talk quickly about the format? Format will be both heat races, classic dirt format again. Heat races lineups will be set by their practice times. But, we have the Freshstone Dirt Classic on Monday and then the Pinty's 100 on Tuesday. So those are our 2 main partners, along with Sit and Bull for the sprint car portion. But, yeah, we talked about doing different formats. And I don't know, maybe the racer and me, I wouldn't want someone who won on the Monday in one format, and then somebody else win on the Tuesday, and they're saying, well, you only won because the format was this, or you only won because the format was that. I think just by keeping them both the same, it's 2 equal shots at the $25,000. There was original talk of putting a bonus out for if someone could win both, but we agreed on, no, let's get both races to $25,000. And if you can win them both, you're already winning $50,000. So I don't think you need another bonus on top of that. So yeah, we're super excited. The promoter me is a little bit nervous. It's a lot of money to bring 2 races back to back, but I'm confident we can get it done. Our crew is great, and we're looking to have a great party here.
And obviously, this is there's still lots of great tickets available, lots of packages that you guys are promoting. This is not, and this is the one thing I want to make sure that people know here on G-Force TV. This is not a 2-day event. This is 3, 4, 5 days of some amazing racing at Ohsweken Speedway. You can literally see racing I think it's 4 or 5 nights directly in a row, if you so choose. Lots and lots and lots of stuff to see.
Yeah, the easiest way to find all this would be NPS as a NASCAR Pinty series. So npsondirt.com. If you go to npsondirt.com, has all the schedules, all the information. We'll keep updating more and more stuff. Like we just confirmed our entertainment schedule for the Fresh Stone Fan Zone for the pit area. And part of that 5-day super pass we're selling, it's $125, includes pit access all 5 nights. And the 5 nights are kicking off Friday with the 360 sprints and the Dirt Car Sportsman, Mini Stocks, and Thunder Stocks. Then we got flat track bikes on Saturday if you're not going to be at Sunset with us on the APC series. Then Sunday we have our Northern Micro Sprint Nationals for the Micro Sprints go-karts. And then the culmination with the Fresh Stone Dirt Classic and the Pinty's 100 on Monday, Tuesday, along with some of the best sprint car guys going for big-time purses. $5,000 to win both sprint car nights, $2,000 for the crates each night. And like I said, all 4 of those races being aired on TSN for the first time. To have sprint cars from Canada on the big channel is amazing. So, yeah, if you're a fan, go to NPS on Dirt, follow our ticket links. $125 gets you unbelievable access. We are really throwing a pit party. Prior to both events, we're going to have live entertainment from 2:30 on, including trackside shows, autograph sessions, a bit of a car display of some of the history of the dirt cars from over the years, and just trying to build it into a big event where, we're trying to bring people in close, and that's why we included the pit pass to get people up close to these cars. If you've never been, this is a great chance to get up close. As you know, Cam, probably as an outsider a few years ago, this group of drivers are more welcoming than anybody you're going to deal with. They would love to see you guys pack the place. If you follow this show, I'm sure you saw some of the posts that came out from GP3R this weekend. The drivers were always talking about how amazing these autograph sessions are and the crowds that come out. So let's make sure Ohsweken's got the same type of turnout. And same thing for our regular fans. If you ever want to get up close to, our best sprint car drivers, they'll all be live for an autograph session with their hero cards available on Monday, Tuesday as well. So make sure you come out, check it out. NPS on Dirt can get you all the links to everything you need. But we're super excited. I'm quite confident, it's going to be a great time. But the big thing is the racing. Just go back and look at any of the clips from last year. They were 4 or 5 wide. We expect the same type of thing all over again.
It's exciting times for the NASCAR Pinty Series, exciting times for Ohsweken Speedway, and of course, G-Force TV. Clinton, Jeffrey, thank you so much for coming on board and being on your first appearance for the Power Hour with Regan and myself.
Thanks, guys. Glad to be here. And once again, if anybody needs tickets, npsondirt.com. And we're gonna have a good time. I'm moving in on Friday and probably won't go home till Wednesday, except for the excursion up to Sunset. So our guys they start campground prep in the morning, and we'll be working hard at it.
It sounds great. Make sure you guys go out and support Ohsweken Speedway, support our man Clinton Jeffrey. We're really excited for this, and thank you so much for joining us, Clinton.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you. Well, what can we say, Regan? I didn't think we expected GP3R to start exactly like that. Now, I like Kevin Lacroix.
Okay, that's a way to put it. That's a way to start.
Say it. I like him. I like Andrew Ranger. Without Joel Robinson posting a clip of inside the 74, I think the conversation is very different. It's very evident to me that he had some sort of a brake issue. I have talked to Kevin and got his side of it. Don't need to share that with everybody because ultimately they're all going to form their opinion anyways. This was not, I don't feel that Kevin Lacroix is that irresponsible to make a move that severely on turn 2 of lap 1. And then that severely over brake or not brake. There's no way he's ending up over top of the 27 if it's just an error. I can't see that. However, we talked about this. We said 30 cars. We haven't seen 30 cars on this track in a while. Is this kind of what we expected?
Well, whenever I'm sitting beside the camera because I was operating for it for a race over here, and I'm just looking at my phone, and I see, huge wreck on lap 1. And so I'm like, okay, this is something. It wasn't specific enough, which didn't help. So then they're just coming around the corner, and then, who was beside Ranger before Lacroix went in there?
Dumoulin.
It was Dumoulin. Okay, yeah, it was Dumoulin. Like, those two were together. Lacroix was right behind them, and it was just so sudden. It was sudden. It was like it was a matter of a second or so where out of nowhere you just see a car like diving in barely. My brain couldn't even process it, and then all of a sudden, boom, a car's on top of someone. You're just like, what the hell?
Yeah,
or WTF?
I don't know, but does it not feel like Andrew Ranger's got to be sick of cars being on top of him or him flying on top of cars? Like, he just went through this at Delaware, and I mean, man,
how else could a season go wrong?
Seriously, and he got out and he was rightfully angry because I think he did have a car that he could have probably competed with Marc-Antoine Cameron, because that was the best qualifying that he's put on in quite a while. Third place start is great for him. There's just some things that just don't seem to be working, and whatever the case is, Andrew has just. It just is. It's luck, and Kevin as well. I expected a lot out of Kevin Lacroix to start this season, and we're already past halfway now. I think I know things are crazy, but is that the end? Is that his championship hopes done? I have to say yes. Honestly, he's now 6th in the championship. He would have to go on one hell of a tear to pass Cameron and then to pass Trayton Lapsevich. I don't know.
I mean, I'm looking back to how he did last season. We all know he was able to come out, with 3 wins.
Yeah.
And he was up there, but now this year, he hasn't won at all. He's only gotten 2 podiums.
Which is not like him.
And like past 3 races, like in Saskatoon, he finished 9th both races. In Trois-Rivières, of course, he gets 30th. Like it just hasn't been him. And even qualifying too. The West Coast swing, he was abysmal in qualifying.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I don't know where, because he's still with the same crew chief. He's still with Don. Still with Don Thompson. But for whatever reason, this is it. Is it Kevin and the team, or is it the field is more competitive than it was last year?
I think I could argue both.
Yeah,
you could argue both,
because I think if we put Trayton in a different category, because Trayton was not. Yes, he was good last year, but he was not in the championship fight last year.
They basically flipped.
Right, exactly. I think they've kind of done that, where Kevin has had the bad luck. DJ, I did not expect to have as good of a run as he did at GP3R. I mean, he's won there before. Gary Clute kind of came out of nowhere, and speed-wise, he wasn't really up there either. This was a race of attrition. It was a race of disappointment. I honestly thought what had happened in turn 2 was Dumoulin had hit the inside wall, and it careened him into the 74 and then into the 27. That's not at all what happened, though. So, because that was my first glance. However, it has been a while since I've seen a Kevin Lacroix car get that destroyed. Like, he doesn't wreck cars. As much as people don't like Kevin and how he races, he's not somebody that wrecks his own car. He doesn't.
No.
But just the fact that right after that, JF Dumoulin pulls in, mechanical issue, done. Early. And that's his one big race of the year. Then we have another issue with Alex Labbe coming back, having a great run, and Justin Arsenault. Now, I actually like this. I like a little bit of a rivalry like that, because I don't know enough about Justin Arsenault. I know a lot about Alex Labbe, but I kind of like that because the next race that those two are going to be together is at Circle Icar, which is perfect because Arsenault was great there last year, and so was Labbe. Ultimately, though, the wreck with Arsenault and Labbe cost LP Montour and Daniel Bois, both who are having a fantastic run. It could have destroyed Trayton Lapsevich because we talked about you can't have a bad finish. And I think Trayton Lapsevich, this was a championship worthy event for him. He didn't finish 17th. He didn't finish 27th. He finished 6th. Limit the damage. If Marc-Antoine Camirand, with the Paillet team, if he was going to go out, win the pole, win practice, like be the fastest, lead most of the laps, and win the race, you had to limit. He lost 8, I think it was 8 or 9 points. That's it. Now, he can't do that every week, but that's limiting the damage. I guess as good as you could have.
Well, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like, yeah, that gap definitely has shrunk a tiny bit. And the thing is, too, now with the Ojwegen doubleheader coming up, where we know Lapsevich got the job done, it was only one race last year, obviously, where, it was kind of an experiment, a lot of unknowns. Some drivers were going to go into it and, adjust to it almost perfectly. And then there were other guys that were, just regularly, they're competing every weekend or week or whatever. But then this one race, it's all of a sudden, it's different playing ground. It's dirt. It's not asphalt. It's a completely different story, completely just different surface right there. So I would say it's definitely going to, like, it's what we even said before GP3R. It's going to get more and more interesting because Lapsevich, like, we say that he is far ahead and people could very well just call him the champion, but no.
30 points
every time the gap shrinks just a little bit, that still gets closer and closer. And the thing is, too, honestly, 6th is pretty lucky because with 30 cars in the field, if he had gotten caught up in something way worse and finished like below 20th or something, and there's Cameron, dominating practice qualifying and then wins the race.
Yeah,
that right there. If that was a trend to continue on into Ojwegen with 2 races, mind you, 2 races instead of 1. That's an extra one, plus the 2 road courses and Delaware. Things could change. You can't call a champion just yet. And I would even maybe argue, I know, like, obviously 21 points back is also Tagliani behind Cameron, but I just feel like with how crazy the season's been, even though there has been, Lapsevich and Cameron being as dominant as they've been, you just never know. There's always a, like a plot twist every season of some form.
We haven't seen the mechanical issues hit in a race
yet.
No,
not yet. And
not in a race.
I think I said this before too. If they eventually hit, that right there could just completely, like, it just start a trend. I feel like the moment it happens once, it's going to start happening more and more.
Yeah.
That's just luck.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I said, that it's been uncharacteristically good so far for 22 Racing. And I'm not trying to jinx it. Absolutely not. I would not want to jinx it. But you've seen DJK. They've had a lot of mechanical problems. WMI, Dumoulin Competition's been involved in wrecks, but we have not seen the bad luck hit the 96 or the 20. Now, obviously that happens, but we've seen the 74 now. 74 has gotten bad luck the last couple of races. I think it was just purely the field's caught up. I really think that a couple of years ago, you could not get past Kevin Lacroix on a road course. You couldn't get past him on an oval. But now, with these cars being a lot more equal, Trayton Lapsevich is showing his talent. Marc-Antoine Camirand in that team. Robin McCluskey, I think a lot of people don't put enough credit to that crew chief. He got and helped LP Dumoulin win 3 championships for a reason. He was hired by JC Paillet and the Paillet Racing team for a reason. Yeah, sure, there's always going to be controversy as to whether the cars are legal or whether there's components that aren't. But at the same time, you still have to be able to beat them. And at the end of the day, there was no one who could match the 96. Not this weekend. They were pure. Now, if the 74 and the 27 weren't taken out right away, perhaps. But
yeah,
the competition level this week was actually extremely impressive. I think the last couple of years, we would have had cars. Benoit Coutier, he had an awful race for his first ever. You do not want to get, and I mean, I'm surprised he got out of there without any trouble, because Dumoulin was in the lead and he came down and they made contact. You don't do that at Trois Rivières in front of the Dumoulin faithful. Marc-Antoine Cameron, this was his Daytona. This is, if you're from Quebec, this is the race that you want to win. He's been in this series for years. He hasn't had an opportunity to win this. Maybe last year would have been his closest. And unfortunately, we'll know how that ended. To me, the story is Dumoulin competition. I was certain that 47 was done after lap 1. And he comes back and finishes second. Amazing. Benoit Legionnaire, that whole team should be damn proud of themselves. They had a really rough race for their 3 cars. But at the end of the day, LP Dumoulin's second place. He needs that. He's, I think, into third with the championship standings right now. I'm pretty sure fourth, and he's right by Gannett.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
it's probably on. It's on the screen
points,
here.
Yeah, 12 points above Gannett, and then behind Tagliani is 7.
So, again, they're building a great competition for third place in the championship. We still don't know, as you mentioned. I am expecting we're probably going to get around, I think, 24, 25 cars for Ohsweken for the 2 races.
Which is fine. That's fine.
Pretty much what we got last year. I think it was 26 last year. That's fine. I don't think we need to go more than that. I'd say probably around the same for iCar, maybe even a little bit more. I know there's a couple of guys that typically come out for those races, the Bordeaux, Dreschers. Jacques Gannett Sr. was supposed to race at GP3. He didn't end up doing that. So maybe he will end up racing iCar. Dave Corsall should be out there. So there's going to be a lot of all those Quebec names racing at iCar. CTMP, we typically are around 26 to 28. And then, of course, you add in Delaware, where we got 28 last year. So all of a sudden, if, like we talked about, if Trayton Lasovich has bad races, or if Marc-Antoine Cameron has bad races, it brings people into the conversation. At the end of the day, now we're looking towards Ohsweken. GP3R to me was not the best race. I love the track. I don't like seeing wrecked race cars, not as many as we had. It was bound to happen. The field got spread out. There was pit strategy. So ultimately, in the end, the actual race was great. I'm just at that point where I'm feeling a little bit of exhaustion from repetitive winners. That's where I'm at right now. And it happens as a race fan.
Right? Repetitive winners, wrecked race cars. You got a dirt doubleheader coming up, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not. They were behaved pretty good last year. I just don't think that they're going to be this year.
That's what I'm thinking, because last year was all kind of an experiment. People were taking it maybe a little bit easier, because if it was all blown out calamity, it probably would have been a completely embarrassing debut. But the thing is, knowing how last year went, it showed the potential of what it can do with drivers getting more experience. Especially, I said earlier too, some drivers adjusting to it well right off the bat, some drivers that struggle to begin with, but those struggling drivers are now going to come back with 1 race of experience, and now they're going to get 2 races, 2 opportunities to shine and maybe surprise some people. The only downside is, because of that, like you say, even with more competition in the field, more competition now at this track that we're coming back to after a debut last year, more of that competition, it would not surprise me if, we saw like 5 or 6 wide at one point last year. We might get more of those, and they may end up costing wrecks.
It's true. I mean, you have to think about it too, is that for me, if I'm Trayton Lapsovich in the 20 team, I'm limiting as much damage as possible. I am not.
That's the other thing too. first race in a way will be, I don't know if survival is the correct term, but in a way, yes, because that's 2 races, 2 nights in a row. If your car screwed over night 1, then that's a race right there where you're completely losing a ton of points. And that's bad, especially if you're like Lapsevich or Cameron. If you have like a mechanical failure and in that moment, like negative momentum goes into race 2, oh my.
And that's worrisome. If I'm not now, luckily you're in Ontario if you're 22 racing. However, if you're the 96, you don't have a home in Ontario. So you're not going all the way back home to find some new pieces and new parts. You're going to go to McCall's probably or WM. I'm not sure which car they're affiliated with, but at the end of the day, you know, there's going to be some things that I want to see. The 96 was by far one of the best on the dirt last year.
Yeah.
He was really working it. Trayton Lapsevich really worked it. Stewie Friesen did. Stewie Friesen and Trayton Lapsevich are not on the same team anymore. So now that finish that we saw last year might not go as easily if that's the same way that things are going to go. I'm also curious to see if we're going to have anybody else that's going to break out compared to last year. We didn't see a couple of names that we're expecting. We didn't see Daniel Bois last year on the dirt. We didn't see Malcolm Strawn on the dirt. We didn't see, a lot of these guys that are kind of come out and compete. Thomas Nouveau was not on the dirt last year. I don't know how he's going to do. He's a road racing background. This is very different.
A road course driver where his first success this season was on ovals.
Exactly.
Ironically. And now we're going to dirt. Just imagine he pulls off like a top 10.
And you know what? With the runs that he's done like recently, I wouldn't be shocked. I think he got a top 10 at GP3R as well, if I'm not mistaken, finished 10th. Thomas, all of a sudden the momentum is starting to switch. Where he was awful at Sunset. He was terrible, but now maybe he's starting to get used to these cars. The big question, I think, too, JP Bergeron. Now, I have seen a picture. I don't know how this person that sent it to me got it, of his injury. Oh my God. When I tell you, so he had a burn, a 3rd-degree burn on his heel from Edmonton, and it was blistered. It is a very gruesome injury. He made it through GP3R. I don't know how it's going to be on an oval though. Like, it's one of those things, it's hard to say. I don't know if, because you're on the brakes all the time, I feel like you're going to have a lot more heat build up in the car on an oval, especially a dirt oval. So we don't know. Don't know how that's going to go. Dave Bailey coming back. I like that. I think that's a good move. He was pretty impressive last year. Trevor Monahan, we'll expect he's coming back for this race. Obviously, Aaron Turkey, Glenn Stiers, hopefully will have a better race because he was showing some stuff last year. Part of me is really glad that we get to go to Oshweekend. I'd rather not, like, personally, I'd rather not have 2 races at the same track back to back. But man, you've got to be good on all surfaces. And Trayton Lapsevich, Marc-Antoine Cameron, they are showing once again that they are the best of the best, the cream of the crop. And I think it's time that we get to the point of the show where we talk about how successful and how dumb our picks are. So GP3R, I had picked Daniel Bois as my underdog, as one of my underdogs. And I didn't think that Raphael Lessard was going to have a great race. That turned out to be correct. So not the worst race in the world, but then he got involved into an issue, and unfortunately that didn't turn out in his favor. And who the heck did I pick to win?
Well, I had Cameron, so
I picked Tag, so I was close.
Yeah.
Now, I love you, Tag. I do. But man, that 18 car, oh boy. Not my favorite paint scheme.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Not a lot of people's favorite paint schemes.
No.
I love Saint Hubert for being his partner. He's a great guy in partnering with them. Did a great little commercial with Ava Rose and which was hilarious. But no.
I don't think that scheme deserved to win.
No,
really.
I don't.
No offense to the partners, but
no
the
offense
look,
to Saint
just
Hubert,
no.
No, just a little too busy for my liking. I liked his old number, like the old number 18 font that he used to have instead of this small one. I don't really like the look of it, but it was eye catching. I'll say that for sure. But yeah, I picked Tag. He's had a good run. It didn't look like he was fast enough to even be close enough to catching Cameron, and so it worked out in your favor. I picked Treit in the previous race to win one of them, so that worked out for me. So are we going to do the three? Are we going to do the because there's 2 races we got to pick for. So
okay,
are we picking a winner for both?
What I'm thinking is we just pick 2 winners. They're at random. We won't bother in order because that just is too specific.
No.
2 winners, 2 underdogs, 2 disappointments.
Okay. Well, I am going to go with the obvious. And I'm going to say 2 winners will be Stuart Friesen. I actually think Stewie's going to win it.
Okay.
And Marc-Antoine Cameron. I'm sorry, the momentum is there. That was a dominant performance, and I like the 2 of them. In terms of 2 people to struggle, I'm sorry, Kevin, but I'm gonna say Kevin Lacroix. I just feel like it's gonna continue, and I love my man Malcolm Strawn, but Malcolm has never raced on dirt, so I'm going to say Malcolm's going to have a bit of a trouble.
Well, no, he kind of got a test back at Eastbound.
Yeah, I guess he did. He was more like a skateboarder there, though. It was more grinding the rail there. But so Malcolm, I love him, but I just
Malcolm, prove his ass wrong, please.
I hope so. I really hope he does well for Jim Bray and that team. But so those are my guys. Underdogs, Aaron Turkey all the way. I friggin' love that guy.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be real good for Larry Jackson. The other guy I'm going to pick, Kenny Schrader.
Okay.
I'd say we don't know exactly what team he's with. I think it's going to be 22 Racing because they have a deal obviously with APC.
Wait, Schrader is an underdog though? Not a contender.
Series. In this series, he wasn't a contender. He was close, but he wasn't contendership last year, I would say. I say he was good. And I'm
in the middle, but I'll let you have this.
I like him in. Okay, fine. Then I'll swap.
No, you can keep it. I don't care.
No, I'll swap Schrader, and you're gonna might laugh. I'm gonna say Thomas DeVoe.
Okay.
I'm gonna say he surprises the hell out of us, and all of a sudden he has like a top 10. Now JP Bergeron finished last year because he got crash damage.
Yeah, the
Turkey spun in front of
23 out of 24 cars finish all laps, and then there's Bergeron.
Yeah, and so but to me, honestly, it was between Schrader, Bergeron, and because I do think Turkey, JP is getting better. It's just not. He's just not yet. He's close, but just not yet. But I think Thomas DeVoe's got the momentum. I love the idea of potentially him getting a great finish on the road course or on the dirt oval. So now you can't take as long as you did last week. Okay, so you got to have those decisions.
Okay, is Jake Sheridan running this year?
No.
Okay.
As far as I know, he's not.
Okay. Because if he was, I would definitely give him an underdog spot. Because I mean, starting 10th and then finishing on the podium in front of Cameron, Tags, Kennington, Schrader, freaking Ken Schrader.
Mm-hmm. Sheridan is somebody that needs to be in the series full time. That's just
okay. Yeah,
that's just a fact.
Underdogs though. First one, I'm gonna say you said Turkey. Is Dave Bailey running?
Yes.
I'll go Bailey.
You can't really call him that though, because
No,
he
what?
wins there all
Not
the
him
time.
either.
He wins there all the time. Schrader hasn't won in the or I guess I don't know if Schrader's
Okay, you keep Schrader. I keep Bailey. How about
that? Fine. Okay. All right. Either way, one of us is going to come out of this success.
Come on, Cam.
Okay, so Bailey and Randy Sachs 36. All right.
This other one, Glenn Stiers.
I like it.
Glenn Stiers.
I really hope you're right. Finished 17th at GP3R. Good run out of 30 for him.
Yes, very. Yes.
Yep. Okay, so you got who's not going to have a good couple
disappointments. I'm agreeing with you on Lacroix. I have to.
Okay.
Sorry, Kevin. You can hate me all you want. For the other one though, it's a toss up. Oh no, I actually had it in mind already. Stuart Friesen.
Really?
I don't have a good feeling in this other car now. If he was still,
you have a good point. I didn't even think about it. He's in
the car he was in last year. Like you could easily make him a winner pick.
Yeah,
I'm not convinced this time around, especially too. It's just, I guess maybe in my mind, knowing that he missed the NASCAR truck playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
WMI,
like you said,
momentum, luck.
They've had a lot of mechanical issues.
The equipment as well, yes. Yeah. And just maybe his mindset too. I don't know if his mind's going to be there. Although, to be fair, he might be happier to do this because now he doesn't have to worry of the truck series no more. And he can now focus on this and putting on a show in front of his people.
Kyle Edgar last week in the chat said that. He said,
okay,
I know Stuart Friesen, and he ain't going to be, he spotted for him last year in the Pinty's race. And he said, playoffs ain't going to concern him. So we'll see, but he could. You're right about the WMI. I didn't even consider about that. All right. So now who's going to win?
Trayton Lapsevich. Definitely. Okay. We'll get one of them.
Okay.
The second one, that's the one I'm stuck on. I was, where were these last results that I had here?
Because this is going to be race 2 and race 3 on dirt for the NASCAR Pinty Series.
Yes.
At weekend. So Trayton's 1-1 already.
The other one, I was thinking Brandon Watson.
Okay.
But I feel like after the West Coast swing, and I know he did finish well at GP3R, but I'm just not convinced that he has a winning car now. I really don't. So in that case, okay, you know what? He started second. He finished 6th. I'm going with the number 17 Castrol because remember, Chris Buescher won earlier today. That 17 Castrol is going to keep going. Trayton Lapsevich and DJ Kennington will win on the dirt.
Now, hopefully we got the super clean purple people eater out there again. That would be great. I loved the look of that car last year. Yeah. So I expect we'll see that out there. 2 tours at Oshwegan Speedway. Then we move on to Circuit Icar. And then we go to CTMP, High Nala. And then we move on to Delaware. This is exciting, man. We're already in the last little bit of the championship. And obviously, I think if Trayton Lapsevich is able to secure 1 or 2 more wins, obviously, I think it's out of reach, obviously. He's reaching DJ Kennington territory. I believe DJ, it was 6 wins that he had, as well as Alex LeBay had 6 wins in their championship seasons. If he beats, I think, and he gets to 7 wins, that might be the most ever in Pinty Series in one season. Perhaps DJ Kennington, I think actually DJ did 7, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong here. Andrew Ranger, Alex LeBay, all these guys have had very successful seasons. So if that's the way that they go about it, I like those moves. Absolutely. Your yawning is passing on to me. Before we go, Reegsy, how can people follow along with you on social media?
Yeah, at Reekser on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Speaking of YouTube, I do have a video coming out soon, the IWK 250 vlog, hoping Wednesday. That's the goal, because I've already been delaying it long enough. It's taken me forever to get it out. But yes, you can follow me, Reekser, on those platforms. Regan McCauley on Facebook. You can find me in the Stickers and Scuffs podcast. group representing Atlantic, Canada, as per usual. Just did this past weekend, of course. And also to NASCAR Pinty Series community. I did see this earlier too. 8,000 members.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, everyone, for that. Before this, as Cam said in his post, appreciating everyone. Let's get to 10,000 before the season comes to an end.
That's the goal. When we took over, when I was added as a admin for the group, we were at 2.6 members. Now we are at 8,000. So that's the goal. When we get to 10,000, I can finally retire from the series. I can finally retire from the community and leave it to you youngins to deal with. So we would have done the service of getting a good amount of people to join the group. But thank you, Riggsy. We appreciate your race breakdowns. Of course, we'll be back following. We won't be on the channel next week. Obviously, it is Oshweekend, so we won't have a live show. We will be off until the following week, which is the 21st, I believe. So definitely make sure you come on back and see us then. But for now, thank you, Riggsy. Well, so that's where we're at. Obviously, I'm still having some technical issues with my camera not being not showing in the screen here. So just give me a second and we'll get that put back up before we wrap up our show today. It normally isn't an issue, but there's always some sort of a problem when it comes to resetting tech stuff. For whatever reason, it's not putting my camera in the right spot, and it's unfortunately hidden off the page. And so that's kind of the issue right now that I am facing. It's also just the camera not recognizing that I'm trying to use a different service. So there we go. Hello, everybody. Cam K back with you here on the show. A little bit of an issue trying to figure all that out, but not bad for GP3R. Great conversation with Clinton Jeffrey. Great conversation with Regan McCauley. Once again, of course, next week we are not going to be live on the channel. It is Oshweekend starting next week on the Monday, and obviously it's exciting. We want to make sure that you guys all tune in. There's lots of great stuff that'll be on GeForce TV all weekend long. Starting, of course, on Friday. Hopefully, let's just hope that we get some decent weather and nothing that comes and affects the races. Obviously, we want the races to all happen. 2 races out at Oshweekend Speedway, and then, of course, we head out to GP3, or ICAR, Circuit ICAR, CTMP, and then we wrap the season up at Delaware in September. Battle for the championship is really down between 2 people right now. As you take a look on the screen, Trayton Lapsovich with a 31-point lead over Alex Taglioni. It is really kind of over Marc-Antoine Cameron. Taglioni back in 3rd. Taglioni at 52 points. That's quite a ways away. 31 is still doable. As long as that 96 is able to beat the 20 and beat him by quite a bit. That's what needs to happen if they want to win the championship. Right now, though, it would be a bit of a disappointment, I think, for Trayton Lapsovich if they got 5 wins on a season and were not able to pull off the race. The biggest championship win for 22 racing in some time. Obviously, it's been since Scott Steckley retired that 22 racing has won a championship, and Alex Taglioni's been there, Donald Teague has been there, Marc-Antoine Cameron's been there. They have not been able to win a championship. So Alpha Dumoulin currently sitting 4th, Alex Gannett, Kevin Lacroix back down into 6th place. And despite all of his bad luck this year, DJ Kennington still 7th out of the chance for a championship this year. Brandon Watson, JP Bergeron going to be battling with DJ for that 7th place position in the point standings. There's a considerable difference between 6th and later on. And then, of course, how about Captain Larry Jackson, just hanging around in the 10th place spot, doing better than a couple of other names like Andrew Ranger, Dexter Stacy, who has now fallen out of the top 10 after a tough finish at GP3R as well. So obviously we're excited. Still, the season's continuing on. Championship battle is continuing on. Will anybody unseat the top 2? Right now, we've only seen one driver, Alex Tagliani, do it. So we'll have to see whether or not that continues as we head on to Ohsweken for a double header. We won't be there. We'll be back next week. We'll be the week after on G-Force TV to talk all about it as we get looking forward to Circuit ICAR at the end of August. Then we head to CTMP beginning of September, and then the end of September at Delaware Speedway. The season has come, and the season is almost at a close, as crazy as it is to say. We've done our Western Tour. We've done middle of the season stuff. Now we're heading on to the dirt, and then we head out to do a couple more road courses, and then back to Delaware to wrap it all up. We couldn't do it without the fine folks at NASCAR, the social media team, of course, Caitlin Patrick, Liv Whistle, Matthew Manor with his photos, the team led by Tony Spiteri and Doug Gundar, officials, all of the amazing partners with the NASCAR Pinty Series. Of course, Pinty's for being a partner, the primary partner of the series. People that have come into the series, we really are hopping. Jim, we've had some amazing crowds this year. Ohsweken won't suffer with a crowd issue. I think Saskatoon may have been the only one right now where the crowd may be a little bit questionable in terms of how big it was. GP3R, solid crowd, huge crowd. Chaudière, huge crowd. CTMP, huge crowd. Sunset was decent. Toronto, I was not there, but it looked to be comparative to many years. It looks to be much bigger more recently than what we had seen. Autograph sessions are packed. Lots of impressions, lots of attention. The people that deserve it are the ones that go week in and week out putting on the shows. They're the ones that travel to these events. They're the ones that put these events on, but we can't do it without the partners that are on the race cars, that are on the series, that are supporting it. It's what we need, and we are so very thankful to have all those partners come aboard. You see them on the cars that are scrolling across your screen. We want to thank them because without them, we don't have a series. Without the people in the series, we don't have it. And of course, there's as Al says, there's a ton of team members that don't go out and they don't go and get paid a lot of the times. They do this because they love it. And a lot of volunteers, people that are just wanting to be part of the series. If you want to be a part of the series, of course, reach out. Lots of opportunities within race teams. If you want to apply, there's always teams that are looking for help. And definitely reach out and do what you can, because at the end of the day, without the fan support, there is no series. That is 100% truth. Without partnerships, without fans, there is no expansion. This series, when we started doing our promotion back in 2021 for the podcast, there was very different feeling from where it is now. I think the momentum that we have gained since COVID is remarkable, and I see an upswing. We do obviously need a lot of help still on the promotional side of things. We do still need a lot of partnerships to help with the costs. That is the biggest issue right now. But with all signs pointing towards a possible Montreal return, I think things are looking really, really good for 2024. I know the team at NASCAR is looking to do things and improve on them. I'm excited for the future. You should be excited for the future, and you should be excited because we've got 2 races at Ohsweken Speedway next week. I want to thank you all for tuning in. A couple names that I saw on Facebook that I haven't been able to thank. Obviously, Mike Russell, Rick McCall, Gloria, Jim, Al, Wes, as always. Really appreciate you guys coming in and being a part of the conversation. Regan and Clinton, obviously, I can't say enough about Regan. He's got a definite future in this biz, and I absolutely love that guy. And he is seriously, Michael, thank you so much. I appreciate it. There is a lot of great coming for this series, and I think you've got names coming into it. A guy like Herbie Drescher, who I didn't know much about, but man, that smile is infectious. His excitement being a part of the series is infectious. We need a lot of those great stories. We need some more of those Ontario partnerships and some of those kids from Ontario to get moved into this series, because we know the talent is there. I love seeing Raphael Lessard, Thomas Nouveau, Alex LeBay, but I want to be able to see those guys, Jake Sheridan coming into this series, Shea Gemmel full-time, Josh Stoddy coming into this series, Lane Zardo, if that's something that he wants to do. There is a lot of good here, okay? Lots of good. I appreciate that, Michael, man. That's an honor to have people from the U.S. supporting us. Means a lot. We're going to try and get our group up to, and I mean, talked about on the podcast, I've talked about this, our little community, the NASCAR Pinty Series community page, we started at 2.6 when I was added as an admin from Evan, way back in 2021. And now we are almost, we just got to 8,000 members. We are trying to get to 10,000. All right. And then I'm going to finally take a little bit of a break, from being the administrator. But we've done some amazing things. We're almost up to on par with the NASCAR, the official NASCAR page. So we want to be able to build, get more and more people on there, build the community, because the more that we build the community, build the fandom, the more and more good can come to the series, because partners will see the fan base there and come to it. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in each and every week. We've done 54 episodes of this show, and we are just getting started. Have yourselves a great week, everybody. We'll catch you all in 2 weeks on the NASCAR Pinty Series Power Hour on G4.